All right. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to, I think it's March 2021's first official Tools of the Trade J-Teen webinar, which is really a focus on giving real talkless things that we can learn, find out about, and plop directly into our programming. So I want to give Avi with Unpacked for educators all the time that he wishes to have to share with us all of the incredible resources. I have used them in my programs. I know some others of you have as well, and there are probably new resources that we haven't even heard about yet. So without further ado, Avi, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you to Erica and J-Team for organizing this and all the awesome webinars that you do. I think everybody who participates really reaps the benefits of it. So thank you for that. It's such a pleasure to be with all of you today. My name is Avi Posen, coming to you from Haifa. And it's a pleasure to see some familiar faces. I think Danielle Alexander in Houston could probably do this presentation herself at this point. But it's so great to see all of you. If you could just put in the chat section really quickly, sort of what is your role and where are you? Would love to know a little bit about you guys, even if it's what grade you teach, what classes you teach. Throw it in the chat. It'll just help me be able to customize what I speak about a little bit more. And those of you not on camera who are shy, if you want to go on camera, that'd be great too. No pressure. Bli lachatz.
And I may disappear for a minute. I'm going to go see if anybody is waiting in no man's land and go bring them back here. So I'll be right back.
Sounds good. Okay, awesome. So we have Danielle in Houston, Susan in New Jersey, Tzipora, Youth Director, Congregation in Orlando. Cool. Brian in Delaware. Awesome. Cool. We got Greensboro, North Carolina. Very nice. Awesome. So keep sending those in and I'll be looking at it. Amazing. So a little bit about myself before I jump in. Again, my name is Avi Posen and I'm the Assistant Director of Education at Open Door Media, otherwise known as Unpacked for Educators. That's our educators division. And before working here at Unpacked for Educators, my whole career has been in Jewish education. I taught at a Jewish day school in Canada, where I'm from, for 8 years, teaching Judaic studies and Israel education, leading our experiential learning in the school, Israel trips, Shabbatonim. And before that, I also worked as a Hillel director and as a Jewish camp director as well at the last remaining fully Hebrew immersion camp in North America, which is Camp Masad, Manitoba, an hour north of Winnipeg, Canada, of all places. So I now work at Open Door Media. And what is Open Door Media? We are a Jewish educational media company. So we produce videos and films and articles and podcasts. We have social media, all about Israel and Judaism with the goal of educating, engaging, and entertaining young Jews. So I work for our educators division, Unpacked for Educators. And our Unpacked for Educators division is the division which takes all of our media content, the videos, films, articles, podcasts, and more, and we add educational resources, everything entirely for free. I'm not selling you or your schools anything right now. It's entirely for free for you. We create it for you. Our success is your success is our success. So just out of my own curiosity, how many of you already have accounts on the Unpacked for Educators website? By a show of hands. If you're off camera, you can click raise hand. Cool, amazing. So if not, I'm just gonna throw the link for Unpacked for Educators into the chat. If you do not have an account, by the way, the accounts is in the last few months. So if you get emails from us, it doesn't necessarily mean you have an account. Take a second right now, go in there, see if you have an account. If not, you can make an account afterwards, but I sent you the link and that way you have access to everything that I'm about to show you. So what I wanna do today is I wanna give you a tour of Unpacked for Educators in quite a bit of detail. I think we have 35 minutes together, right, Erica? And we'll have some time for some questions as well. So I want to show you what we have available on the Unpacked for Educators website, how you can utilize it within your educational environments, either in person or virtually. And then I'm going to tell you about our really exciting Yom Ha'atzmaut program that we just launched last week, that we already have over 40 schools signed up for, 3,000 kids, and would love to have all of you and your students as well. Okay, so I'm going to jump right in. If you already have an account on Unpacked for Educators, this is what you'll see when you get into the website. By the way, as I speak, if you have questions during, feel free to throw them out. Also, we'll definitely leave 5 to 10 minutes at the end for questions as well. So on the Unpacked for Educators website, begins like this. You've got access to the latest resources on our website, be it videos, be it articles, be it podcasts, right? They're all updated on a weekly basis as we have new videos and new articles and new podcasts every single week. Below that, you can see our educators picks. These are sort of the content that we're pushing right now. It could be a video series, it could be an article, it could be our weekly email that we just wrote about the upcoming Israeli election that has campaign ads and has classroom resources so that you can use it with your students. So I'm just going to show you how to navigate the website. And as I go through this, I'll show you how it can be really useful for you. So first of all, let's say we're talking about teaching Israel, Judaism, Jewish history, whatever you're looking for, you can always use our search function and search for whatever topic you're looking for. And that will bring up whatever you're searching. Under the Discover tab, you can search by category: Arab-Israeli conflict, Israel history and culture, peoplehood, Jewish ideas, Jewish traditions, and all the subcategories that come with that as well. You can search by resource type: videos, articles, films, podcasts. Also, I know some of you are teachers, some of you are directors of your school, right? We have curricular outlines that take all of our content and organize it in a really clear pedagogical way, in that you don't need to go watch every video, read every article, listen to every podcast. You'll have everything clearly laid out to save you time, and you have it in a curriculum already. Experiential learning page, as well as a distance learning page. So I'll try to get as much in as possible in the time that we have, but in the meantime, pay attention as I go through, because this way you'll at least know where to go to find what you need. Okay, so if you click on Discover, it will take you to our Explore page. Here, you can find everything you need. So again, on the left, you can search by topic, you can search by grade level. Almost all of our content is perfect for middle school, but high school age, we definitely encourage you to use all of the content. All of the content's applicable. For middle school, almost every piece of content is applicable. Some of the really deep, controversial, heavy duty hitting stuff, we save for high school. However, if you're teaching at a school that only goes until 8th grade, for example, and your students, if they graduate after 8th grade and aren't continuing on with their Jewish education in a formal way, then it's up to you if you want to incorporate some of the more controversial pieces there. Again, you can search by resource type, by our different video series, which I'm going to go through in a moment, by language, right? Features. We have, working in conjunction with the organization Toldot Israel, we actually have, for a lot of our videos, we have eyewitness account videos. So for example, if you have our video about the War of Independence, you'll have actual videos of Israelis, young Jews who were present at the time of the establishment of the state, who were involved in the War of Independence, involved in the underground groups, and we have actual testimonials, which really humanizes the story and makes the story personable for your students. Every video on our website, of which there are 114 videos right now, more being added every week, has a Kahoot ready to go. You're all familiar with Kahoot. I'll get to that soon as well, right? All of them have educational resources. We also have primary sources in our further reading section. By the way, I'm going to explain this and break it down all for you soon. But let's say you're teaching about the UN partition plan, 1947, and you want to get the actual primary resources. You don't need to go searching in a million different places. We have everything ready, one package, so you have a one-stop shop for everything you need. You can also filter by controversial issues, US-Israel relationship, Yom HaZikaron, Yom HaAtzmaut time of year, et cetera, et cetera. So this is really your place to find everything you're looking for. What I want to do is I want to briefly walk you through our different video series, and then I'm going to show you another few pieces. So starting with our History of Israel Explained series. I can't see all your faces right now, but I imagine that those of you who are familiar with the website are familiar with this series in particular. This is a 54-part video series that we made about the history of Israel. So just to scroll through for a moment, I just want to show you the scope of the series and how much it covers, right? Everything from Israeli and Zionist leaders to every war in Israel's history. As I go to the second page here, you'll see the continuation that it covers, famous Mossad operations, famous and infamous UN resolutions, Israel as a startup nation, right? The Balfour Declaration, what is Tel Aviv, the law of return, what is the kibbutz, the Dreyfus Affair, what is Zionism, the revival of the Hebrew language, right? All the classics that you'd find in any Israel education curriculum. And I want to really point out here that we as an organization, we present all of our information in an educational way. It's not hasbara, it's not advocacy. Of course, there's space for that, and that's important, right? That's not what we do. All of our content really focuses on facts, always presents multiple perspectives, and through our educational resources, asks the difficult questions so that students think critically and really think for themselves and engage with the material in a meaningful way and form their own opinions. Because it's not the most important thing in the world that we tell them what to think, what their opinion should be, as we know, but it is our job to make sure that they do think and that they do have an opinion and that they do care and that they are engaged. So you'll see that we have a number of different controversial topics here. Deir Yassin, of course, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, a 6-part series we did on the settlements, even a video about Baruch Goldstein, right? So that's our 54-part series on the history of Israel. Another series that I want to show you, which is a really exciting one, is called Explainers. Okay, we have 21 videos in our Explainer series, and these are videos that just cover interesting and often controversial events or issues within Israel or the Jewish world. So for example, our newest video is on the Avram Accords, right? How Mizrahi music took over Israeli pop. We had a video for Purim, the history of the Star of David, lone soldiers of the IDF, women in the IDF, MLK's Jewish Connection that came out in time for MLK Day. What is the Talmud? IDF's top units, the origins of anti-Semitic conspiracies, right? The conspiracy of the origin of Ashkenazi Jews, which goes into the Kesar theory and all of that. Mossad's top operations, right? Really interesting videos that are engaging, of course, for you guys, but also for your students as well. And they're all geared towards a younger audience, so it's done in an engaging way for that age bracket. Another series I want to show you is much like the history of Israel explained, it's the Jewish story explained. So this is going to be a 45-part series covering all of Jewish history, beginning with Avram and Sarah, the Avot and Imaot, all the way until today. So far, we've released season 1 of the Jewish story explained. And like I said, it starts really from the beginning of Jewish history or the Jewish story, right? And so far, we've gotten into times of the Mishnah and the Talmud, and now the beginning of Christianity and how that affected Jews and Judaism. So that's a big series. If you're teaching Jewish history, it's a series that you got to take advantage of. A few more series that I want to point out for you guys. One of them is called Israel Phenomenology, and this is an Israeli culture series. So this is a series hosted by Chloe Valdry, and essentially it covers different topics within Israeli culture: Ethiopian Jewry, Israeli hip hop, Israeli Druze, Israeli food, Mizrahi music. And if you're familiar with our content, which many of you are, you'll know that these videos aren't shallow lollipop and rainbow videos. They're heavy duty. They jump into the issues. They ask the difficult questions. They present fundamental questions facing the Jewish state and what it's like now. What do we want it to be, right? It really digs deep in a meaningful way. And one more series that I really would like to encourage you guys to take advantage of, especially in the supplementary school, religious school setting, is this series called Big Jewish Ideas. This is our newest series. It's a 7-part series. And what this series does is it really goes into 7 big pillars of Judaism or big Jewish ideas that are really inclusive of Jews across the religious and political spectrum. So ideas like Jewish ritual, the secret to community, right? Community, Jews, COVID, and community, how COVID has affected Jewish community life. Jewish culture versus Israeli culture, how Israel has reshaped Jewish culture. What are the similarities? What are the differences? Safety and security, anti-Semitism, when being Jewish feels unsafe. Unfortunately, we have a lot to talk about when it comes to that these days. When it comes to Jewish education, how education has kept Judaism alive. and Jewish identity, right? This is one that's especially relevant because of the events of the last week and a bit of what's been going on in Israel with the Supreme Court. Who decides who is a Jew, right? Questions of Jewish identity. And also a video on Tikkun Olam, right? Is Tikkun Olam Jewish? Is it Jewish social justice? What is its origin? Where does it come from? Those big questions. So all of those videos, of which I mentioned, there's over 114. I only see Danielle, my friend Danielle in Houston, in the corner of my screen. So I'm actually going to call in Danielle for a second. Danielle, can you choose one of the videos that I just scrolled through? Any of the videos that jumped out at you that you like to use, especially whatever it is.
Well, we just used the Tikkun Olam video on Monday, and we love that video. And then we used the Kahoot following with our JServe leadership cohort.
Love it. Okay, so because Danielle did that, I'm going to show you guys the tachlis here. I spoke about all these videos. Videos are great. All these videos are on YouTube. Terrific. But what really makes this site special is what I'm about to show you. You click on this video or any of the videos that I scrolled through on this website, and now you'll see really where the treasure trove comes in here. So number one, you've got the video. You can watch it on YouTube directly. You can watch it on the site. You can share it directly with your students. And below the video, downloadable by PDF, you have an entire smorgasbord of educational resources that you can pick and choose from. You've got review questions as a check for understanding, as a quick quiz after watching. You have discussion questions. You have learning activities, really tachlis. What are you going to do in the classroom with your students having to do with this? Of course, there's a Kahoot button here and a Play Kahoot button up here. Every video on the site has a Kahoot ready to go. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to spend the time with the questions on your own. We have a Kahoot ready to go for every single video on the site. Reflection questions, right? These are more introspective questions for students, right? And of course, further learning links. So articles, videos, podcasts, other pieces of content that relate to this subject matter in particular. So if you wanted students to do presentations or projects or an extra reading or watch another video related to a certain subject, we have this curated list of content that you can take advantage of and utilize with your students. So to review, right? I'm a teacher, I got a review. We're all teachers here, right? You have all these videos. Every single video on the website has all of these educational resources, the review questions, discussion questions, learning activities, reflection questions, further learning, and a Kahoot, of course. So we do it in this way so that you can, each and every one of you can go in here and pick and choose what are the right pieces for your students, for your class, for your school, for your unit, right? You can really build your own lesson, build your own unit based off of the content that we feed you here, right? So number one, those are the videos, okay? Again, if you have questions, you can throw them in now in the chat or you can save them for later on. Those are the videos. The next thing I want to show you are the articles. Again, if you're subscribed to UED, Unpacked for Educators, then you'll receive an email from us if you're on the East Coast at 7 a.m. every Monday morning. And the email is called The Weekly. And in this email, what we do, sorry, I just see that there's a question in the chat. Miriam, great question. The videos are between 5 to 11 minutes. So they're short videos. It's not a video that'll take up the entire class, for example. And with the resources, then you can build an entire class around that. Great question, or between 5 and 10 minutes about. So back to the articles. Every week, you're gonna receive an email on Monday mornings that basically takes the most interesting and controversial prevalent event or issue taking place in Israel or the Jewish world, and we break it down both for you and your students. Again, this is not an op-ed because that's not what we do educationally, right? We're not telling you what to think, but we're giving you all the information so that you can get your students to think. So what we do is we take whatever the issue or the event is, and we really break it down. What happened? Why does it matter in the context of Israeli society and Jewish history, right? What are the different perspectives on this issue? And then most importantly, every single one of these weeklies, whatever the topic is, we give you discussion questions and classroom tips, student prompts, so that you can take whatever this issue or this event is today, and tomorrow you're ready to rock. Tomorrow you're ready, or even later today, you're ready to rock with a class on this subject, right? So as I scroll through, you can see some of the topics that we've covered in recent weeks. Lots of interesting stuff, lots of controversial stuff. We don't shy away from any of the controversies. I just want to give you a bit of an example though. Our most recent weekly, which I'm personally very excited about, because I'm obsessed with politics, and it was fun to make this one, is Israeli elections, number 4 in 2 years, unpacked again. So for those of you who have seen this or who haven't seen this specific email, what we do in this email is we really try to make the election something that you can bring to your students in a fun and meaningful way. How do we do that? We take every major political party and we took their campaign ads. We added English subtitles to every single one of these videos of several campaign ads. Along with these campaign ads, we also explained how did we get to another election? How do Israeli elections work? What are the issues this time around? What are the major political parties that you need to know about, right? And finally, the most important thing, you want to speak about the elections with your students, you want to bring this to your students, you've got all the tools you need, right? Just as an example, watch all of the campaign ads above and vote in an anonymous election to determine which party would win in your class. Then answer the following questions. Which party did you most identify with most and why? And which campaign ads affected you more, the positive or negative ones, right? We have an idea for how to do a mock election. We have a chart here that really divides up each of the policies and how each party, where each party sits on them, a fun quiz to do, producing your own campaign ads, another video about the election. So every week, whatever the topic is, we give you the tools that you can bring it directly to your students in a fun, meaningful, and nuanced way. So number 1, videos. Number 2, articles. Number 3, which is the next thing that I want to show you, are our films. This is the only thing on the website that does cost money. But as for those of you who have used it, it's really worth it. Of course, unfortunately, it needs to cost money because of licensing reasons, but these are some amazing films. Just out of my own curiosity, I'm going to stop screen sharing for 1 second. I just want to see how many of you, by show of hands, have used any of those films before. Awesome. So a lot of you. So you're super familiar with these films, right? Films like Beneath the Helmet, right, which follows the story of 5 Israeli high school kids who graduate high school, go right into the army, and their story, Mekonnen, right, the Ethiopian Israeli officer, and his first trip back to Ethiopia since making Aliyah, and how his identity is forming, Sustainable Nation, which a lot of schools use around Tu B'Shvat time, about the Israeli international water crisis and how Israeli researchers are helping to solve that around the world. When the Smoke Clears, about IDF veterans with PTSD and how they support each other. It's used a lot around Yom HaZikaron time. Crossing Line 2 goes into BDS, right? Hummus, the movie, is a really fun film that a lot of schools use around Yom HaAtzmaut, for example. And Israel Inside, all about Israeli innovations and how those are helping to solve different issues around the world. So just looking at the question, are these movies licensed to be shown through Zoom? Interesting question. I believe that you can. Susan, if you want to send me an email after, I'll get you the answer to that question for sure. But I think you definitely can. And this is a great opportunity because number 1, if you buy these films, you have license to them forever. You can use them every year for whatever grade you're using them. You also get educational resources that come with them. I'd show you trailers to them, but I don't think we have enough time. So anyways, when you're perusing the website, click on any of these videos. And you can watch the trailer here. Also, as the educator, if you would like to see any of these films and screen them in advance to see if it's a good fit for your students or your school, please let me know, shoot me an email, and I'll send you a code. You can watch them for free and then determine if it's a good fit for your school. So we've got the videos, we've got the articles, we've got the films. A couple more items that I want to show you briefly, and then we'll have some time for conversation. So the next thing I want to show you is our next biggest project. One of the biggest forms of media today that young people and really all ages are really getting into are podcasts. We launched our first podcast about a half a year ago called Unpacking Israeli History. And in this podcast, hosted by our Senior Vice President, Noam Weissman, we take 15 interesting and controversial events in Israeli history. And we created a 20-minute podcast about each of these events, right? Again, following our philosophy of being nuanced and bringing different anecdotes and different perspectives and asking really interesting questions. It's a really engaging way to bring your students into these topics, right? You can use the videos, you can use the podcast. We have a number of new podcasts that are going to be coming out this year, including the weekly email itself, which is going to become its own podcast. So if, for example, you wanted your students before coming to class to know what's going on in current events, they could listen to this 15-minute podcast, the week Unpacked. And then when you come to class, you can take advantage, right? A flipped classroom. They engage with the material on their own. And then when they come to be together with you in person, you can engage with them with the educational resources. Having to do with the podcast, along with the links to each episode here, you also have the links to all of the educational resources that accompany each of them. Okay, so videos, articles, films, podcasts. I want to show you very briefly our curricular outlines, because this is a really important tool. As you can see, there's a lot of content on this website, with more content being added all the time. On a weekly basis, there's multiple pieces of content being added. So what we've done here is we've taken all of the content and saved you time in creating curricular outlines. 2 of them are about Israel. One of them is Jewish history connected. So just to show you briefly what that looks like, I click into the Jewish history curricular outline, which is one that we just recently added. Number 1, you can download it all by PDF by clicking over here. But here we go. We have the affective, the behavioral, the cognitive goals. We have the enduring understandings of the curriculum clearly laid out. We have the 3 standards of the curriculum. And then really tachlis, we have the links. We have it in order by topic, by category, with the actual links themselves. So let's say you're doing Moshe and Yetziat Mitzrayim, Moses and the Exodus. You've got the link right here that'll lead you directly to the video page with all of the educational resources. So it saves you time in organizing everything for you, which is really a good tool for all of you. Finally, again, I'm going to stop screen sharing for 1 second. How many of you are doing virtual learning right now? How many of you are? Okay, wow. So basically everybody. So I just want to direct you to our distance learning page. I think you're all probably experts on distance learning at this point, but this may be of help as well. We also created a distance learning page with our top 7 tips and tools to deliver an engaging virtual learning experience for your students. So ideas that I'm sure you're all using: flipping your virtual classroom, hosting a podcast listening party, which is a big thing these days, right? Instead of having them listen in advance, listening together on Zoom, and then using the resources that come with it to dig in after listening, right? Playing the Kahoot, of course, and a number of other ideas that we have here as well that you can check out. Okay, one more item that I want to show you that I'm really excited about. If I go back to the main page, again, I'm just going to stop for 1 second. So I'll screen share with my audio this time. On the main page, it could be that some of you have already signed up. I'm sure some of you have already seen this. What I want to show you is what we're doing for this upcoming Yom Ha'atzmaut, which also, by the way, is a free program to participate in. And there's no better way to show you what we're doing. I could give you all the down and dirty details, or I could show you the trailer that we made about the program. So I'm going to show you the trailer, give you a couple more facts about the event, and then we'll get into Q&A. So here we go. Israel Pursuit 2021. Enjoy.
Do you have what it takes? This Yom Ha'atzmaut, join Israel Pursuit, the biggest trivia event in the Jewish world, and show off how much you know about Israeli history, culture, and current events. Join thousands of teens from across the globe for your chance to win major cash prizes and bragging rights. All you need to do is watch Unpacked videos and listen to Unpacked podcasts to prepare for the global trivia tournament, and you can go home a winner. The games will run from April 5th to 16th, with an action-packed, celebrity-filled final live tournament on the 27th. If you will it, it is no dream. Sign up today.
Beautiful. So I'm sure you understand why I'm excited about this event, right? Starting now through April 27th. Last year, you may be familiar, we did a global Yom Ha'atzmaut Global Trivia Challenge. We had over 12,000 students participate from 200 schools in 9 countries. This year, we're trying to go bigger and better. And essentially, the way it's going to work is that the first phase, I'm actually just going to scroll down here so you can see it yourselves. There's me explaining how the program works. After you sign up, you've got all the key dates here. So now through April 4th, essentially you sign up your students and we will send you 4 videos and 2 podcasts that the entire Israel Pursuit Trivia Challenge is going to be based off of, right? On April 5th, we will send you the link to the Kahoot. It's a Kahoot challenge that you send to your students directly. Perfect if you're in the virtual setting or if you're in person, because you'll send them the link and they'll actually play it on their own phone. You don't even need to screen share and do it that way. They will play the game on their own. You have between April 5th and 16th for your students to play. And then on April 19th, which is really exciting, we're going to announce the regional winners. We have 10 regions around the world, including 3 in America. And if one of your students wins the region, which would be amazing, then they're going to participate in this live tournament event finale with Israeli celebrities, Jewish celebrities, which we're really excited to do. And the winner will win $500 and a trophy will be sent to your school or shul. And we're going to advertise it and promote it on social media, which is really exciting. So that's our Yom Ha'atzmaut program, which is coming up very soon. And I really encourage all of you, after you create your account on Unpacked for Educators, and schedule some time in your week to really peruse the website and nerd out on the website, as we like to say. Even if you've already spent a lot of time on the website, really dig deep, read a bunch of articles, watch a bunch of videos, look at the resources, see what's a good fit for you. And after you've done that, of course, sign up for Israel Pursuit, or even do that right after this call. So just to review, I just want to go through everything that I just spoke about, right? I showed you the videos. We have 114 videos and all the educational resources that come with them. The discussion questions, learning activities, reflection questions, further learning links, the Kahoot, right? The articles, right? You'll receive them by email, but they're also all here in a library on the website every Monday. Articles breaking down Israeli and Jewish current events, what happened, why it matters, the different perspectives, and classroom tips so you can take it and teach it, right? Our films, which again is the only thing that costs money, but if you want to watch any of them to screen them in advance, you just let me know and I'll send you a link to watch them for free. And once you buy those, you have them forever, and you also have the educational resources that come with them. The podcasts, right? Unpacking Israeli History podcast, and the new podcast that's coming based off the weekly email. The curricular outlines, which save you time and organize all of our content in a clear way. I didn't go into experiential learning, but I encourage you to check out experiential learning as well, which is another way that we encourage people to engage with the content through games and activities and more experiential learning experiences. And finally, our distance learning page, which again, of course, you guys are all experts by now, but if you'd like another refresher on how to engage your students in a virtual way with our content, this is the way to go. And finally, Yom Ha'atzmaut, right, to sign up for Israel Pursuit 2021. Highly encourage you all to take part. It'll be a lot of fun and very educational, fun experience for your students. And with that, I pass it back over to you. It's a lot of information, but if you have any questions or comments, whatever it is, happy to answer.
So this is why I love to let colleagues know about our partner organizations, because I just want to emphasize that everything you saw today, except for the movies, is completely free and easily accessible to any of you. And I'm glad that you pointed out at the end that experiential piece, because I know that we've got people who are in formal and informal classrooms, but we've also got people who are part of the youth group community and other informal Jewish educational experiences. So for them to be able to tap into that and find even more ways to be able to bring that to their communities is phenomenal. I mean, my question the entire 37 minutes of your incredibly polished presentation is how are you doing this? How are you making it happen? Like last time I heard your presentation, I'm not attending regularly as Danielle is, but last time I heard, I think there was like 2 video series and now there's like 5 or 6 of them. I don't know. I don't know if you need to answer the question of how, maybe it's rhetorical, but like Mazel Tov, like it's incredible what you guys are doing.
Thanks so much. And really, I mean, the truth is if people aren't using it, then there's no point of us doing it. So we're really doing it for you. We don't charge anything for it. So I said this at the beginning and I'm going to say it again now. You guys using it and having success with it with your students is us succeeding in our goals, right? So we really encourage you to take advantage of it, and it's there to give you that nuanced, high quality tool. You don't need to reinvent the wheel, right? We cover a ton of topics and we have tons of plans, and an entire year worth of series that are already planned out for every single week of the next year. Right? Our newest series, which just launched yesterday, is called Israeli-Palestinian Context. And it goes into all of the biggest, most harsh accusations against Israel. Again, it's not a hasbara, it's not an advocacy series, but it really goes into those questions. It asks them in a real meaningful way. It gives the history, it gives the context, it gives different perspectives on it. And it's a really, really important way to bring it to your students. I'm actually gonna drop a link inside the chat. Actually, just because Danielle's part of our other partner school program, so she's very familiar with this. Danielle, if you wouldn't mind on YouTube, if you could go just grab the link to the first video under Unpacked, and she'll just put it in the chat section. I encourage you guys to check out that video. There's going to be new videos of that series every Wednesday. After that, we're going to have a Shoah series leading up to Yom HaShoah, a relevance of Judaism series, right? What does Judaism say about all these different topics? Right? There's a lot of plans coming up. And I also encourage you guys, again, I intentionally have my email in my background so that you can reach out to me. And if there are topics that you wish were covered, if there were video series about certain topic that would really help you in what you're doing, if we don't have it yet, please reach out to me and let me know, because that's why we're doing it. We're doing it for you guys. So please reach out to me anytime if you have ideas of different series we could do, even if it's a topic for the weekly, whatever it is, please, it's an open door policy. Feel free to reach out. Thanks, Danielle.
Any questions? I feel like you've answered everything before we've even asked, but I'm sure there's a question or two. Yeah, Danielle.
I just had a quick question about the Trivia Pursuit. I'm starting to advertise it. It is something they can do on their own, right?
Yes, exactly.
As a school, we've registered, we're in, but once we've done that, they can play as like they can just do it, right?
Exactly. You'll be sent the link, right? Mm-hmm. You'll actually be sent a PDF of all of the videos and podcasts that they need, which you'll be able to send to them directly. And afterwards, on April 4th, you'll receive an email that will have the link, and you'll send that directly to your students. That'll be your regional link. So that'll be like the Midwest Texas region link. And as they play that, we'll get all the data. So we'll see how everybody does in each region around the world.
Awesome. Thank you.
No problem.
Doesn't seem like you enjoy your job very much. This is what we love: the passion, the energy, the enthusiasm, the collaboration, the joy in what we do. So thank you, Avi. Thank you, Unpacked for Educators. We are so glad that we are on each other's radar. And I just had a conversation with a colleague yesterday who's newer to the J-Teen community. And I said, you've got to go check out Unpacked for Educators, just as an example of an incredible organization that's giving free content to professionals who are doing this work. And like, she's already gotten lost there. So in the most positive way. So if you have any other questions for Avi, feel free to reach out to him. I know you put I know your email is behind you, but it's hard to see.
Yes, I'm going to put it in the chat as well.
Also, and just before everybody goes, I'm sure you have also already heard that J-Teen's annual conference has officially launched and opened. We are having a virtual conference this May 23rd through 26th. I put in the chat our primary topic areas so that you can see what we're beginning to explore. If you know that you want to attend and you're already interested, feel free to click on that first link so you can sign up and register. You don't have to pay right then and there. If you're not quite sure but want to be kept up on the information list, click on that second link so that we can keep you updated as well. J-Teen members, it's only $125 to participate in the conference. Non-members, $175, and new J-Teen members get half off of their conference fees for one professional. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me as well. And thank you all for joining us today. We hope that I have no doubt, I'm not even gonna hope, I have no doubt that you got lots of good ideas and information today. And we look forward to seeing how you use it in your programming.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Erica.
You're so welcome. Thank you, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.